Hello, what's going on, guys? Anthony from Chronometer Check here, and today we're going to be taking a look at one of the best Seiko 5 models in my opinion. It was actually one that I've owned it once before, and I actually currently also own a vintage version of this model. I just love it so much. It's the Seiko 5 SNXS79. It's a mouthful, a little bit of a tongue twister. Good luck, try saying that 5 times fast. But yeah, so we're going to be taking sort of a little bit of an unboxing and first impressions. You know, I already kind of have some impressions and my own perception of it built up already just from owning it before. But I'm going to kind of give my experience with it, kind of my thoughts about the watch. Not going to be a full review, I will have that as well, but anyway, let's get into it. Okay, so today we're going to be unboxing the Seiko 5 SNXS79K. It's the Malaysian version. Like I said, that is a handful to say. And yeah, so let's just get right into it. I know the actual unboxing part of the unboxing is like kind of the least interesting. But surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, Seiko does come in usually pretty good packaging. I did try to take the tag off here and kind of got a little bit too impatient and scraped it off with a screwdriver. But yeah, so I already did open this bad boy up and size it. Again, I already owned this watch before, but look at that. It's just so beautiful. Okay, it comes on this nice pillow, warranty card, Joma Shop. That's where I bought it online. I'll put links in the description. You could also just get it from Amazon. But yeah, so first of all, the first thing you notice right off the bat is that amazing sunburst gray charcoal dial. Look at that. That's so sexy. Wow. Honestly, I think that this is the Seiko 5 that most closely resembles the Rolex Datejust. Obviously, it's not the Datejust, but I think it just has kind of that appeal. And yeah, so it has that charcoal dial, which is absolutely amazing. It has these applied embassies that have a pretty good lume on them. You know, they do have Seiko Luma Bright. Maybe I'll give you a shot of that later. But yeah, it actually works really well, and I think it just adds to the Rolex Datejust-y feel of the watch, along with these stick hands, which again I think complement it pretty well. You do have the Seiko 5 badge. Some people love it, some people hate it. I used to not be a fan, but as I've grown more a fan of Seiko, I've grown to love the badge even more. It's like a badge of honor. No pun intended. That was really cheesy, but yeah, I really don't mind wearing it. It's, you know, I rock it with pride. And yeah, it has a day-date wheel, pretty evident. I used to like the darker day-date wheels, especially with the dark dial, but now I realize that it actually complements the symmetry of the dial with the embassies, so it actually kind of counteracts the other side of the dial. It makes it a little bit more symmetrical. So I think that's nice. They maybe could have done it in cream if they wanted to get fancy, but again, this is Seiko 5. This is like a $75-ish watch if you could find it for a good price. And yeah, it does come on this stainless steel bracelet, which is definitely not the best. I had to make an entire video about how to size it because it does have folded links and it's just so flimsy, but at the same time, it's kind of comfortable and has sort of a charm to it, sort of like the Seiko SKX. You know, it's just so light because it is a folded link bracelet, so it's kind of like a double-edged sword. As far as the dimensions, this watch it's such great dimensions. And again, going back to sort of my beginnings and my getting into mechanical watches, I was a little bit almost insecure with my watch size choices. So when I had this watch on my wrist, at the time I was also wearing a couple of divers. You know, I got a SKX a little bit after, and I started to feel like this watch was a little bit too small. But now going back to it and, you know, revisiting it 2 years later, it's just so amazing. This is such a classy size. It can literally fit on almost anybody. It looks absolutely amazing. And part of what I think makes this watch look so expensive is that the way it's sized. Of course, many of the Seiko 5s do have this size. It's sort of like 37 millimeter diameter. And yeah, it's just absolutely amazing. I'll throw on a wrist shot in a little bit, but yeah, so a couple more things. As far as the height, sorry for that alarm going off in the back, that's New York for you. But yeah, so the height on this case is 13 millimeters, which is something, again, that I didn't really like about this particular Seiko 5 model the first time around, because I felt like if you're going to have a small watch, why would you want like a chunky case size? But it just adds a little bit extra presence without making it a chunky piece, and I think that's amazing. The case is all polished, again, one of those things I was not a fan of when I first got the watch, but this time around, yeah, I think it looks great, actually, and the polishing is done really well, and it's one of those things that you don't get to appreciate, like in pictures or even sometimes in video. So I'm trying to give you kind of the most dynamic angles of this watch and trying to show you as much as possible about it, but I know that, you know, it's easier said than done. Yeah, overall, it's just such a beautiful watch. Of course, it does have the Seiko 7S26 workhorse movement with a display case back. Again, another thing I love about this watch, or the Seiko 5 line in general, that even the SKX is, I mean, it is a dive watch, just a little bit, actually it's very uncommon to see display case backs on a dive watch, but I would have, you know, if they could have somehow made it water resistant anyway, I would have absolutely loved that on the SKX. And yeah, I mean, it's just so marvelous for one of your first mechanical watches to be able to see that movement, even though the 7S26 is not the most gorgeous movement in the world. It's just, I love display case backs anyway. I don't care. Yeah, I mean, that pretty much encompasses this watch. It's so amazing. It looks a lot more expensive than it is. Oh, it does have mineral glass. You know, what else are you going to expect for this price point? It does scratch. It's relatively scratch resistant because it is a Seiko's Hardlex. I think it's better than regular mineral. Some people do say that it kind of sucks. But anyway, it could be buffed out with polywash if it does get scratched, and it's not a big deal. And I think it kind of adds to the charm. Like, I honestly wouldn't mind having a banged up and scratched up Seiko 5, whatever. It's a Seiko 5. It's amazing for what it is. If it gets scratched up, another one is only $80 away. Not saying that's not a lot of money, and not saying you should just throw away your money, but my point is you don't feel bad about things like getting a ding on a watch like this. So yeah, it's beautiful. Let's throw it on the wrist for you. Okay, so I'm actually wearing, like I said, this the Steinhardt Ocean 39 on a Barton strap, which I've been absolutely loving lately. One of my favorite things about it, side note, is how this keeper over here interlocks with the end of the strap. I think like it's little details like that that really fascinates me, and it makes it feel really, really secure. And this is like a $20 strap. I will have a video about Barton straps, but this is not an advertisement or anything. I just really like it. This one I bought on my own, so yeah. I did size this bracelet, so it's perfectly sized for my wrist, at least to my liking. It's a little bit loose maybe for some people, but especially in the warmer weather, you want to have a little bit of room. And look at that. So I do have 7-inch wrists, and I think it just wears amazingly well. Let's get a close-up of that dial. Look at that. I'm mesmerized. So this is my second time owning it, like I've said, third if you count the vintage model that I have now. But that one is a little bit different, has a dome crystal and slightly different aesthetic. But this one, I just appreciate it so much more this time around after trying more expensive watches and being able to really appreciate what people are saying when they explain how awesome the Seiko 5 line is. And, you know, it's just, it looks like such an expensive watch. If you're just wearing it down the street, if I saw someone wearing this down the street, I would literally assume it's like a Datejust. Not that if you examine it, you know, you're going to confuse it with a Datejust, but it just has that rich, luxurious look. The way the case is polished, the gorgeous dial, the kind of subtlety to the design, and just overall, it's an amazing piece. Again, the bracelet is kind of cheap and flimsy, and it's like a $300 watch on a $3 bracelet. That's kind of the best description I ever heard about the Seiko 5. I forgot who said it first, but yeah. So that's about it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will have a full review. This is kind of just my impressions, and I just wanted to kind of ramble a little bit. I will have a full review soon, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to check it out on YouTube and on the blog, chronometercheck.com. Thanks for watching.